Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Pashvika, the channel where we talk a lot about making and selling digital products and making money with art. In today's video, I'm gonna show you how to make a simple recipe general in the Photoshop. It's a very simple tutorial. Anyone and everyone can do it. You don't need to be a designer to do and get started with art. And also guys, obviously there are so many ways in which you can make a recipe general. This is just one of the way in which you can make a one, and I'm gonna show you one of the ways you can add your own creative touch to it. So without further ado, let's get straight with that. Before go park, consider clicking the like button, guys. I do appreciate that. If you want more such video feature, consider subscribing, hit the bell icon. Whenever I'm gonna upload new videos, you're gonna get notified about it. Also, if you're looking forward to making money by selling digital product, then I have IntraPF download, kind of like a workbook planner that will going to help you in getting started with digital products, finding a right ideal client avatar, making digital products, selling, making money, scaling your business, which helped me to make thousands of dollars, starting my own digital product based business back in the 2020. So hopefully it will going to help you too. The link is in description box below. For a person looking forward to make money online, then I have other channel where I talk a lot about making money online as a creative person, as an artist. I'm gonna leave the channel link in the description box below. Without further ado, let's get straight with today's tutorial. Okay guys, currently we are in the Photoshop. You can clearly see there. So I'm gonna pick up a new canvas. So quickly before that, I'm gonna choose a specific color. I mean, you can choose a white for background color for your canvas, or you can have a very specific color. So I'm gonna keep it as a red. That's what I want for my recipe general. You can have as white as well, or you can do a lot of the twist and turn over here. So I've selected the red background color. Now I'm going to go over to the file, and we will going to click over to the new option, and we will going to pick up a new canvas. I'm going to keep it as a 6 by 9 inches as the size. You can choose whatever size you want to choose. I'm going to keep the background color as a foreground background color. That would be the red. RGB color mode, 72 resolution, and boom, here we are with the new white canvas, and we will going to proceed towards making a recipe general. Now this is just the one of the method, guys. You can do the lot various different ways. So I'm gonna keep the theme of my color as red and white. So I'm choosing a font over here, and first of all I'm choosing a text over here. So I'm gonna select a font. You can very well import your own font, or you can use the default fonts the Photoshop already have. You can choose the size, color, you can choose the alignment. I'm gonna choose the color over here because I want to keep it as a light, because the background is a little bit darker red. So I want to have the text lighter in color. So I'm gonna write the heading, that is the recipe general over here. So gonna quickly proceed towards with that. So guys, I have finished with writing with the recipe general. You can very well write whatever heading that you want to write for your text. Now I'm gonna see the size, adjust the size, or also the fonts. Now this one is a little bit way more smaller, so I'm gonna increase the size, and now I'm gonna be align the text in the center align text, and simply click the right button. You can do a lot of the stuffs over here, and you can add your own touch to the text over here. Now I'm gonna proceed further. Now I have chosen a box over here from the custom shapes. You can very well import your own custom shapes, and or either you can use the default shapes the Photoshop already have. You can choose the color of the box, and you can do a lot of the stuffs over here. So I've chosen the color, the lighter shade of the red. Like I'm choosing a one color, the different shades of the red over here. And now I'm gonna choose again the font over here, and I'm gonna choose a different font than my heading, and decrease the size of the font, the text, and I'm gonna be typing over here the recipe name. Now of course there are so many variations of the recipe general that you could make over here, a kind of like a recipe book or paper, whatever you call it. So first would be the recipe name, and then the second subheading would be something different. So the second heading would be kind of like a procedure, or you can also call this as, before the procedure actually comes the materials required, or the ingredients that would be needed for making any kind of a food recipe. So that's what I've written over here. The second subheading is the materials required, or you can write the ingredients. Okay, the sky is the limit over here, so you can add your own touch, and that's what I did over here. I'm going to be writing the third subheading, which will going to include the procedure or the steps involved to make that particular recipe. I have written down the procedure. You can write the steps involved, or you can write the method of making a recipe. Again guys, you can write your own text. Okay, and the last could be a conclusion, or kind of like a notes or remark, or something like that, where you can conclude with the recipe, and or either you can add some extra notes to the recipe. that must be needed. So the final takeaway or notes or remarks or conclusion, I mean, you can write whatever you feel right for making your own recipe general. Okay, now I'm going to be selecting the individual text layer and I'm going to be readjusting them. So right inside of the panel of the Photoshop, you can see all the layers, and I'm going to be selecting every individual layers and going to rearrange them. So I have basically the 5 headings, the 5 subheadings, the recipe name, materials required, then the procedure, final takeaway, and the notes. You could keep the final takeaway and the notes as one subheading, or you can keep them as a 2 separate one, or either you can have a conclusion or a remark or extra notes or extra tips. I mean, you can add your own touch. Okay, this is just the very simple. So I'm gonna rearrange them by selecting the individual layer on the right hand side of the panel and selecting the individual layer. We're going to rearrange them in that box so that they're gonna have a particular alignment. So I'm gonna just quickly finish up with the alignment of all the text layers that I have in this particular box as a subheading. Cool, I have finished with the alignment of all the subheadings in this particular boxes. Now you can see a lot of the layers over there, so you could very well merge them. I'm gonna first rasterize all the layers, then only I would be able to use my brush. So that's why I have actually rasterized all the layers. Now I'm going to be using a brush tool in the Photoshop, and we will going to use our own custom brush. You can very well use the default brushes the Photoshop has, or you can import your own brushes. It entirely depends on you. I'm going to choose the color. You can choose the size, the hardness, and all that stuff. You can see it has a bigger size, so I'm going to decrease the size of this particular brush, and now it's kind of like a smaller. And I'm going to be using them in the canvas. You can see it's a very light red color, so that's why it's not clearly visible. So I'm going to change the color again so that it's clearly visible. In the canvas, I'm going to use more of the white color, not that much of the red. So that's a little bit more clear in the first case, a little bit more clear than the first one. Okay, so I'm going to quickly apply the first layer of the brush over the red spaces in my recipe general. You can very well leave your recipe general like that only and import it out if you feel like you are done with that, or either you can import some graphics or textures or patterns over here if you want to decorate and be more creative with your general. Okay, it all depends on you, whether you're making for your own purpose or whether you're making for selling as a digital product on the Etsy or on your own website. So I'm just going to quickly use this particular brush on the entire canvas, and we're going to cover the area so that it's actually give a little bit more touch to our recipe general, not that too simple. This is the brush that I made for myself in the Photoshop. So I'm just going to use that. Now it's not clearly visible because the brush is kind of like a lighter shade, so I'm applying the second layer so that it's a little bit more clearly visible. And now, so let me just finish up with the brush until you're satisfied with that. You can add your own specific touch to your recipe general. You can be more creative and you can do a lot of the stuff over here depending on what you want to do and what kind of end result you want. Whether you're targeting a specific ideal client avatar for particular selling, it all depends on you. So I think I'm kind of like satisfied with them. Now I have a lot of the layers in the right hand side panel. So I'm gonna select all the layers and then I'm gonna merge all the layers into one group layer. So here we are done with that. Once you're satisfied with your recipe general, what you have to do, you can very well save it as a JPEG PNG file format. I think I'm done with the recipe general, so I'm gonna go over to the save option and I'm gonna save it. You can very well name your file depending on the color, theme, or filter, or whatever you are using. You can either save it as a JPEG, PNG, or any other file format. Simply, I'm gonna save it as a JPEG, click OK, boom. We have made a very simple recipe general in the Photoshop, and hopefully you find this tutorial useful. If you find this tutorial useful, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you want more such videos or anything like that? I would really love to hear from you, and any video requests are welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in today's tutorial. I'm gonna see you in the next one. Till then, take care. Bye guys.